Hey guys, how you going? So here we are, finally making another YouTube video. For those of you who don't know, at the beginning of this year I uploaded 2 videos to my YouTube channel, and one in particular got quite a lot of interest, which was my one about my weight loss and calisthenics journey. So firstly, I'd just like to say a massive thank you to anybody who subscribed to my channel, who commented on my video, who headed over to Instagram and joined me over there, sent me a message or an email. I received so many amazing inspirational messages, and the fact that even one person would take any time out of their day to contact me blows my mind, but the fact that so many of you did just means the absolute world to me. So I just want to say thank you so much. I'm still working through all the messages, but I promise I'll get back to everyone. But I'm super grateful, and it really just reminds me of the reason I do what I do, so thank you. And secondly, I sort of wanted to just touch on why I hadn't really uploaded any videos since then. And the main reason really is a lot has changed for me in the last 9 months. I was living in Australia for the last decade, and I'm now currently living in the UK. So I was moving overseas, I set up a new career, I set up my online business, and just I haven't really had the time I would have liked to dedicate to my social media and YouTube. But going into the end of the year now, I've got a little bit more free time to dedicate to this, so I'll definitely be uploading more videos, a lot more on my Instagram as well, so keep an eye out for that. So today's video is going to be a question and answer video. On my Instagram stories a couple of weeks ago, I asked you guys to ask me some questions, and I have them all saved on my phone, so we're going to go through them. I'm actually going to split this video into 2 parts. So I'm going to do a fitness and calisthenics based Q&A, and this one today is going to be more of a fat loss, nutrition and mindset Q&A, because there was just so many questions. I would have been here for like an hour answering them all. So if you want to find out all about weight loss, that sort of stuff, then stay tuned and hopefully this video will help you. Question is, how do you stay motivated? So obviously this is going to vary from person to person, but there's definitely a few ways that I found were really helpful for me to keep me on track and motivated on the days where I was just feeling a little bit down. So the first one is to track your progress. So I spoke about this in my push-up video, but it's really important. Try not to compare yourself to other people, but compare yourself to you. And that's why it is super important to be tracking your progress consistently throughout your entire journey. So when I started to lose weight, people said to me at the beginning, make sure you take photos of yourself and track your progress that way. And I didn't listen to them because I just didn't even want to look at the photos or acknowledge that I looked the way I did. So I didn't, and it's a massive regret of mine now, because when I did start tracking it and taking photos, I could refer back to them and really use them as a source of motivation and inspiration for myself, just to see how far I'd come. And nowadays I use my Instagram account for that purpose. So if there's a day where I'm just feeling a little bit down, I will scroll through my Instagram account and I'll just have a look at what I've achieved and how far I've actually come and how it's actually making an impact on other people. And it gives me that motivation to continue on and just to get up and get going with the day. It gives me that kick up the bum that I need. So track your progress. It's really important, and it will be super helpful for you as well. So the second one is to surround yourself with supportive, like-minded and positive people. You'll find that if you go through a fat loss journey or a weight loss journey, that a lot of people around you are going to have a lot of opinions, and they're not always going to be positive ones. And that can be really disheartening and demotivating, especially if it's people that are close to you. So if you can surround yourself with people who have similar interests or who have been through the same thing as you, and have a positive demeanour about them, it's going to go a huge way to motivating you to stay on track as well. Just to have somebody who knows where you're coming from and is fully supportive of everything you're doing will make a massive difference to your motivation levels. So that's definitely a super important one as well. So the last one is, and I talk about this all the time, is just to do something that you truly love. For me, that's bodyweight training. But for you that might be swimming, it could be dancing, it might be cooking healthy versions of recipes that you love, it could be absolutely anything. But if you can find something that you really enjoy, then you won't be constantly looking for that motivation, because you'll just want to go and do that thing. So try and find something that you love, and until you find it, just keep trying new things, and eventually you'll find something and you'll be like, this is me, this is my thing. So try that one as well. Right, so the next question is, do you supplement protein into your diet? So when I was initially losing the weight, I did not supplement any protein. To be honest with you, didn't pay any attention to macros at all. I just ate what I wanted, and it was more about portion control and just creating that calorie deficit. And then when I got into calisthenics, I actually turned plant-based, and that was not there was no dietary reason for that. It was more because I've got psoriasis and I just wanted to see if it would help my skin. But because I was plant-based, I was not taking in a lot of the animal proteins that I had been, but I was trying to build muscle and build strength. However, that being said, I still didn't supplement protein or really pay much attention to how much protein I was eating. But I started to have protein powder in some of my shakes every now and again. But to be honest with you, it wasn't because it was supplementing protein, it was just more because I liked the taste. Alright, so the next question is a nice easy one. How old are you and how tall are you? So I am 29, nearly 30, and I am 5'4". Okay, so the next question is about eating disorders. So if that's something that might trigger you, it might be best just to flick forward a few minutes or switch the video off. But it says, eating disorders, have you ever had any? And if so, how did you overcome them? So I've been fortunate enough never to have an eating disorder. However, I've definitely struggled with my mindset around nutrition at certain points of my journey. So when I was trying to lose the weight, I didn't have any problems with my nutrition. All I was doing was eating in a calorie deficit. I was portion controlling and not snacking as much. And I didn't really find that I had a negative mindset or that I was obsessive over food or anything like that. So a few years ago, I changed my diet around a little bit for the sake of my skin because I have psoriasis, and I was hoping that maybe a few changes in my diet might help. So I did try keto, I tried the autoimmune protocol, I tried being plant-based, and then I also did intermittent fasting. And it was at this time that I found my mindset with my nutrition really went downhill, and I became really self-critical of myself and obsessive over food. So it was at this point that I became really restrictive with what I was eating, and although looking back I probably looked the best I've ever looked, I was definitely the unhappiest, and I struggled quite a lot with depression and anxiety, and not all of it came from the food, but it definitely manifested in my nutrition and how I controlled what I ate. So to overcome this, I took the approach of thinking about the fact that I'm not professionally competing and I'm not an athlete, and I advocate for a healthy and balanced lifestyle. So why was I being so restrictive, and by doing so, what was I really achieving? And the answer was not a lot, and there was no reason to be so restrictive. So although it's important to be a healthy weight for long-term health and to avoid chronic illness, it's important too to consider the effect that restricting your diet so much might have on your mental health, because that is equally important as your physical health. And that is exactly why I try to avoid tracking my calories now. I don't really pay attention to my macros too much, and I try to eat quite intuitively. So if I'm hungry, I will eat. If I'm not hungry, I won't eat. If I feel like I'm snacking too much, I will just sort of rein it in a little bit. If I have a day where I eat quite a lot, I won't berate myself. I'll just pick it up the next day and start eating a normal diet again. So I try to listen to my body and focus on the fact that I am living a healthy and balanced life, and I am happy as well. And that is the main thing. All right, so the next question is, what has been the most difficult part of your journey so far? So I would 100% say that mindset has been the most difficult thing to overcome so far. And adjusting my mindset from being an overweight and unhealthy person to being somebody who absolutely loves fitness and is a healthy weight has been extremely hard for me to adjust to, and something that I am still working on. So like a lot of clients that I see, when I was overweight and crying in the mirror most days, I just thought in my head, I will be happy when I've lost weight, I'll be happy when I weigh less, or when I'm skinny, or whatever it was I was saying to myself at the time, and nothing can be further from the truth. I am definitely a lot more self-critical of myself now than I ever was, and as somebody that already is self-doubter and can be quite hard on myself, it has become a bit of a vicious cycle of self-criticism and just generally making my life difficult for myself. So I think at some point when you're on a weight loss journey, your progress will start to slow, you'll achieve your goals, and you're kind of just left to think, okay, what's next? Where am I going now? And that is very hard when you've invested so much time and you've been achieving things for a period of time, to then suddenly have achieved that and now wonder where you're going with your journey. So this is still very much something that I'm dealing with now. I'm always fighting this battle of who I am or who I perceive I am, and it's very difficult to break out of that, especially when so much has changed in my life. But don't get me wrong, I am definitely happier in general now than I ever was. I have manifested a life that I absolutely love. I enjoy my training. I have the most amazing friends. I have an amazing job and career that's come from this, and I absolutely love everything I do. However, that mindset is still a challenge that I face today, and it's definitely been the biggest challenge in this whole time. So this is something that I definitely want to dedicate a little bit more time to and make an entire video just around mindset, around nutrition, fat loss and fitness, because I think there's a massive misconception out there that if you are skinny or you lose weight, then you will be happy, and nothing could be further from the truth. There is definitely a lot of self-criticism involved in the process. However, there is so many benefits as well. So it's really important to focus on the right goals and do it for the right reason, and that is not going to be aesthetics. And that's definitely something that I've experienced myself. So if you'd be interested in that, let me know, because it's something that I definitely am passionate about. Right, so the next question is, what has been the best thing to come from your fitness journey? I absolutely love this question because there has been so many benefits to this journey for me. So initially I would say that my friendships have been a huge one. So I have met probably about 90% of my friendship group through calisthenics, through the gym, through weight loss, and all these different avenues. And they are the most supportive, positive, and encouraging, inspiring group of people that I know. So I'm so thankful for that, because had I never gone through this process, I wouldn't have met most of them, and they bring so much more to my life. So that would be one huge benefit that I would put at the top. So another one would just be my general attitude. I've definitely, throughout this whole journey, become a much more resilient and determined person than I ever was in the past. So I used to be quite shy and underconfident, and this has really given me the confidence that I needed, and I have a much higher level of sort of grittiness, whereas if I get knocked down, I'm much quicker to get myself up, brush myself off and keep moving on. So it's really the journey and all the difficulties that you come across through your journey has really developed me into somebody who can overcome those very quickly and maintain a positive mindset, much more so than I used to be, and that has been a huge difference in my life as well. So I'd say that's another really important one. It's just the way it has changed my character and who I am as a person, and then how I deal with situations. Another massive one is my career. So I have obviously changed my career. I'm now an online coach and a personal trainer, and I get to spend my life helping other people to achieve things just like me and change their lives, and that is just the most rewarding career. It makes me so happy, and the messages that I receive every single day make everything that I do worthwhile. So another amazing thing that's come from this is that I've got the most amazing career and I meet amazing people as well. And the last one I'm going to talk about is obviously calisthenics. I've got the most amazing hobby and lifestyle out of this. I love what I do, I love my training, my body feels strong, and I just look forward to getting up every day, and that would never ever have happened had I not lost the weight in the first place. I am such a different person compared to 4 years ago, and what this journey has truly shown me is that aesthetics is the least important benefit to come out of a weight loss journey. And like I said, I used to think if I was skinny or if I lost weight, then I would be happy and it would change my life. But what's really changed my life is all the other things that have come from this journey. My friendships, my career, my determination and my resilience. These are the things that are actually important. So this is the sort of thing that you should be using as your motivation on a bad day, and really thinking about the benefits or the potential benefits that you're getting, which are not aesthetic based and are not just about gaining or losing a few kilos, because they are far more diverse and important than just aesthetic. So another question is, how long did it take for you to see results and lose weight? So I lost, if you haven't seen my previous video, around 4.5 stone, which is about 30 kilos. And I lost about 25 kilos of that in the first 6 months of my journey. And then I sort of maintained that weight for quite a while. And then when I finally started getting into calisthenics, that's when I lost that last little bit of weight. But the majority of the weight I did lose in that first 6 months. So something that I want to quickly mention is that for the first 6 weeks or so, I really didn't see much change in my appearance. I definitely saw improvements in my physical fitness, but in terms of my measurements and the way my clothes were fitting, there really wasn't much change. And I think that's important because a lot of people really expect to see results very, very quickly and won't remain consistent because they're not seeing those results. But it's important to have a much longer term view when you're trying to look at weight loss or even fitness, and set yourself goals that are far into the future rather than a week by week or day by day goal. So if you're looking at analysing your weight, for example, every single day, you're going to see fluctuations day in, day out. There'll be weight gain and weight loss, and you'll find that when you lose weight, you'll feel really happy and motivated. When you gain weight, you're going to feel unmotivated, you're going to just want to give it in. So if you're constantly tracking, then it can create that negative mindset. So try to not track so much and instead try to look at a much longer term view of what's happening. And ultimately, if you were to look at a 3 or 4 month period, you should see a downwards trend overall rather than a day by day one where you're going to see an up and down trend. Alright, so this next question actually came up quite a bit, which is, how has losing weight affected relationships or dating? So it's an interesting one. When I actually lost the weight, I was in a long-term relationship for 11 years and he was very, very supportive. I sort of just did my own thing. I made my own meals. He would eat them as well, but he would just have bigger portions, and then he would go and buy like snacks for himself and I would just try to avoid eating them. And then exercise-wise, I just did my own thing. But other than that, everything else was fine, and I found that my passion for fitness actually wore off on him and he became a lot more active as well, which was an amazing bonus. So I think something else that a lot of people are worried about in terms of dating or meeting new people is how they will react when they find out that you actually used to be quite overweight, or that you looked very, very different in the past, and just how that might have affected you. And that is something that, again, has played on my mind, but I'm very open and honest about what's happened to me and my journey, and I think that has been a huge game changer for me. When you're really upfront and honest with people and you mention it without doubting yourself and with confidence, people actually find it quite impressive or inspiring. At least it shows that you're a determined and driven person, and if you have a goal and you want to achieve it, you can, and that's quite a nice, desirable attribute in a partner. So although sometimes we can think quite negatively about it, I think the way other people perceive it is very, very different, and we just have to appreciate that maybe we're just a little bit too hard on ourselves sometimes, and other people aren't as harsh on us necessarily. So it's been not a problem, and I don't think that you should let it affect you in any way if you're in the same position as me. I've never had any bad experiences, so yeah, it's been good. So it's starting to get dark here now because it's getting into the evening, but we're on the last question, and the question is probably the most commonly asked question that I get, and not only on here but in my Instagram DMs and on my comments as well. And that question is, do you have loose skin and stretch marks? And the answer is that yes, I do. So because I lost quite a substantial amount of weight, there is definitely what we would call loose skin. However, if I was to stand here in front of you in a bikini, you would not know any difference. That just looks like normal skin. If you were then to grab the skin on my lower belly, it would be quite elastic and stretchy, I suppose, in a way. And that is pretty much it. Everything else is absolutely normal. In terms of stretch marks, I have plenty of stretch marks, and I've had them ever since I was a teenager. Stretch marks are completely normal. Most people have them, and it's not something, again, to be ashamed of. Yes, it can get you down sometimes. Yes, we could wish they're not there, but ultimately they're just a part of our bodies and there's nothing we can really do about it. So it's best just to accept it and to try and embrace it rather than let ourselves get down by it. So I will try and do a cutaway and show you what I'm talking about, but like I say, it's just a little bit of elasticy skin, but again, you wouldn't notice it if I was just to stand in front of you, and everything else is pretty much fine. So I do get a lot of messages from people saying that they want to lose weight, but they're worried if they lose weight they're going to have loose skin and it's actually putting them off losing weight. And I would really encourage you to try and think about the other benefits that we talked about of weight loss. So things like what hobbies you could gain from it, what it could do for your character or for your health, what friendships you could make from it, rather than what you're going to look like, and potentially the fact that you might have a little bit of elasticy skin, or you might have some stretch marks that are a bit more obvious, because really those things are not important. And if it's more a concern of what other people might think of you, it's just never something that I've contended with. If it was, the best thing to do is just to be completely honest. I was overweight and I did something about it, and now I'm here and this is the repercussions from it, and people will accept it with honesty is the best policy. So it's never really something that I'd actually paid much attention to until people started asking me about it, and it made me actually realise that I do have a little bit of loose skin. I always knew my stretch marks were there, but the loose skin I just really hadn't thought about too much. But if it doesn't really affect me too much, and I can be quite self-critical, then I honestly don't think it should affect you. In fact, I've got psoriasis as well, so I've got the trifecta. I've got loose skin, I've got stretch marks, and I've got psoriasis. And you know, we've all got something. Everybody's got something. So you just have to learn to try to love your body and not focus so much on aesthetics, but think about what your body can do and how you feel and your health, rather than the way you look. Okay, so I'm going to try and show you what I'm talking about with this loose skin, but this is what I just look like normally. So if I'm just wearing some high-waisted joggers, I look pretty average. And then if you pull this down, again, I still look pretty much the same as always. Everything looks normal. Here it's like nothing, but if I was to pull on my skin here, you can see it's quite elasticy and stretchy. And that is pretty much all that there is loose skin wise. So I'm always going to have like a little bit of a tubbier stomach at the bottom. It's never going to be like super washboard abs or anything like that, but that's fine. I can accept that, and I would rather be a healthier, fitter me than and just have a little bit of loose skin at the bottom than still be overweight. So that's pretty much it. So that is the end of this Q&A video. I hope that I've answered most of your questions. If you have any more questions, feel free to leave them down below, and I will try and answer them in the comments. If you're new to this channel, you can head over to my Instagram account, join us over there, send me a message to say hi, because I love meeting you guys and hearing your stories. And otherwise, thank you so much for watching. Thank you again for all the support. It means the absolute world to me. You guys have no idea, and I hope you have an absolutely amazing day.